This is the reading for the second decan in Gemini. That is the period between 1 and 10 of June. Then we have the Sun between 10 and 20 degrees in Gemini. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury, but for this period we have as sub-ruler Mars. I have to make very clear that this association is based on the classical astrology. Maybe in some other sites you can find out another sub-ruler, maybe Pluto or Uranus or Neptune. Mars, that it's so much the war god. In Gemini, Mars doesn't really play war games, but more mind games. And it's more connected to our thought than together with our communication style. Combination of the two of them, the concentration of the warrior with the sensitivity of Gemini, who has a lot of plans, a lot of thoughts, and now it's like pushed just to do it. And in this way, a lot of stories that we are telling ourselves, or stories that we know, are just coming into the world. They are supposed to be told. We are the result of the stories we are telling ourselves about us, about the world. And this is very much the way the stories are created. Even in a way we can think of the combination between these two planets. And then of course, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, we also have the combination of Mars and Mercury. They in a way inspire each other and keep each other awake, but also bringing more the shadow side of Mercury into our attention, especially in this decan with the card that is associated, which is the Nine of Swords, that's associated with the nightmare, with restless nights, anxious dreams, insomnia, panic attacks. So if we look at the card, we can think of the power we have to make our own dreams true. That sometimes can be a bless and sometimes can be a curse. In the traditional deck, we have this person who apparently sits very in her thoughts or unhappy in the middle of the night. It's very dark outside. We see here the Nine Swords. There is no light, there are no shining, they are associated with our thoughts. So we presume that this person is awake because of all the thoughts. We also see this nice quilt here with a lot of roses, a symbol of love, all the signs of planets and the horoscope signs here. Apparently, I didn't really check, the Venus planet is missing. It's the missing of love. It can also be like we wake up in the middle of the night with the feeling that we still have to do a lot of healing. This is the way that the stars were arranged at the moment of our birth, a womb healing, just symbolically number 9, like we spend 9 months before we are really born on this planet. So it would also be a sign of the cycles of life, but also the trust that the heaven is always above. If it's in the stars, we need to trust that we are where we are supposed to be. I like here the story that it's made. If we look at the card before, so the person is still asleep, but there is a lot of blood, so a lot of wounds that have to be healed, and that it's the reason that the person is going to wake up. And the moment he does, if we look from the other side, we see that the demons are present. The demons are the one attacking. So maybe these swords now are the thoughts that are brought by the demon, but also maybe the thoughts that can help you overcome or heal the demons that are here present. And indeed, with the card that after, we see how the person is brave enough to pick up a sword, face the shadows, he can face the demons. And I see this like a symbol of this card, because it's also the Mars, the fighter. So even if the thoughts are so strong, and the card is also called the Lord of Despair and Cruelty, But the warrior allows you to find the courage to fight whatever toxic thoughts there are. And considering here the planets that are present and the stars and all the symbols that we have, trust that the stars are on your side and you can heal whatever has to be healed. Just this week I went to a Zen workshop, and one of the qualities of this Zen meditation was that it helps you make peace inside, and that's also what we get in the middle of the night. It's all this silence around us, but maybe also inside us. And at that point, lots of demons from the past, maybe even from before we were born, because we talk about the womb period, they are coming to light. Here the demons, indeed, they are now in the light. There is light on those demons, even if the rest is so much darker. It means they are there in our subconscious, and they are coming up to light, and we find a despair. We can think that there is no way we can get over it. We are now crying or we feel desperate. But also to trust that once we acknowledge them and once we face them, we will be also able to fight them. In my book, Beneath the Moon, the card 9 of Swords has the story of Oedipus and the Oracle of Delphi associated with the complex of Oedipus, and the story about this boy who was, when he was born, the Oracle of Delphi said that he's going to kill his father and marry his mother, but then the king decided to sacrifice the child. But the servant who was supposed to abandon the child couldn't do that, and then he gave it to somebody else. And so he grows up without knowing his real father and real mother, and then later on becomes a warrior. He kills his father without even knowing, because he was very smart. He encountered a sphinx with a riddle. He managed to solve it, so even the queen decided this is somebody who she would like to marry, because she was widow at that time. He didn't even know that he was the one who killed her husband. So they marry and they have children and they are happy together. But in the end, he finds out that this is actually his mother and that he was the one killing the father. So he couldn't escape the destiny in a way, and the demons that he had to face. It's a sad story, the story of the destiny that he had to face, a very unfair thing to deal with in a lifetime. There has to be a meaning in the end. The demons can be very powerful. He is not really to blame. This will be the story with the 9 of Swords. I hope you can take more the idea of a real warrior who is capable even to fight his own thoughts and to be strong enough, end up finding the presence, the Zen presence, like I mentioned before. Once all the clearing up of the demons, it happened. And because we mentioned the Oracle of Delphi, I'm going to pick up a card from Delphi for number 4, and then let's see a card from the Oracle of Delphi. It's about self-knowledge, and the card is realizing that your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life, yearning for life. If you pick up this card, you may worry about affairs concerning your children. The upbringing of children needs to be done with a lot of patience and love. Once they grow up, distance yourself. Realize that they wish to make their own choices and lead a life of their own, the same way you did at their age. The ancient sage guides to educate your children that can be found on the walls of the Oracle of Delphi. It means spend time with your children and pay special attention to the children's emotional needs and education, as they run the risk of developing a deficiency due to the hectic modern life, which compels parents to work long hours, failing to spend quality time with their children. Nowadays, the educational system focuses on education mostly towards employment perspective, providing training and knowledge to serve that purpose, which is often dry and boring for children, leaving many other aspects of your youngers being underdeveloped. Parents of today, therefore, need to discover ways that offer children emotional and social education, which will allow them to find the vitality and the important emotional social competence they need. The advice of the oracle is to make the most of the short time that you have with your young ones and guide them into an understanding and importance of virtues such as kindness, solidarity, compassion, moderation, temperance, and a balanced management of negative emotions such as rage, jealousy, disappointment, which they are sure to encounter in life. Spend quality time with them, feel their heartbeat, confide in them so that they will then confide in you. Yet set boundaries with love and teach them self-discipline and how to set boundaries for themselves. Do not discourage them when they fall short of the mark. Do not discourage your children. So that's the message. Modern pedagogical methods do not include punishment. Instead, they offer constant encouragement and praise for the children's strong points and positive behavior. As a child, be decent; in puberty, be temperate; as an adult, fair; and in old age, wise. I hope you like this message, and I'm sure that you are a person who is willing to find a balance, and that will also have effect on your children. Thank you for watching.